Woohoo! Hey, beautiful people, it's me. I am ready to scrapbook and get my creativity on. So sit on down and join me. I've got many elements and cards from the most recent Studio Calico's monthly kit. And I'm also using a new bright white cardstock. I will make sure to put the link to the cardstock down below, but I'm loving it as just a great foundation for my photos. And also, I am getting unbelievable results when using the paper with my digital printables. So something to think about, but it is a nice hefty cardstock and really almost commercial quality. And I think something that I will certainly purchase again. So first up is to just lay out my photographs and determine where I kind of want them to go this week. And I am going to trim a little bit more of the white cardstock and create some 3x4 cards and a 4x6 card to really serve as the foundation for the photographs. And you see, I'm working with a nice selection of some small photographs. My son asked for a last day of school pool party up at our pool house for the neighborhood. And so I took lots of photographs, but I knew that I didn't want to have to add an insert and make my album any bulkier. And you guys know how I do inserts that are with bulky albums. I didn't want to do that. So by printing out the photographs, it's like a 1.5 by 2.5 inch. That allowed me to include lots of photographs, but without the book. And I did that in Pick Stitch. I'm sure there are other apps, photography apps that you could use, and then printed them out. And that really worked well for me. So next up, I have several 4x6 cards that I've gotten from Studio Calico that are patterned. I absolutely love the patterns. They are delicious, my friends. But there's no way I'm using a 4x6 pattern card. Sorry, it's just me. I'm a little bit weird. But as a 3x4, that is doable for me. And even when that's too much, you know, now I will just trim that in half and add it to a white card. And then that gives me a nice balance, right? Between the floral or pattern card and then the white. So at this point, I'm also trying to determine what other cards I might want to use and incorporate into the layout. I'm going through some of my older rounded edge cards and also some of the newer straight edge cards. So playing around, that's a little silver and white card, which I thought might be nice. But I'm going to go with this red card, and I'm going to take the bottom quarter, put a little bit of tape on the back, and adhere it to the bottom of a white card. You've seen me do this before, and right now this is one of my fave techniques. And it's just a photo of a library aisle. I was at the library checking out a bunch of books, and no one else was in the aisle with me. I was all alone, and so I thought it would make a really, really cool photograph. And let's see, next up I have an image of this old house that my hubby and I spotted when we were on a Sunday drive. And then I caught my baby boy playing video games in his bedroom, and his feet were sticking out. And they were looking massive to me. So I thought I would get a kind of neat photo from the bottom up of his uber large feet. His feet are bigger than mine now. He's taller than me. I'm officially the shortest person in my house. So I wanted to capture that. So now let's see. I am going to use this slightly rounded edge card. It's a grid background, and I've only got a few left, and I can't seem to find them anymore. But I thought that would be a nice background for that photo of the water and the sky. I recently went to George Washington's Mount Vernon plantation, and when you step out of the plantation, it overlooks the vastness of the Potomac River, and you can see where the water meets the sky. It really is a spectacular sight. And when you think about the long history of the location, it's quite moving. So I wanted to include that photograph And then the other photograph that goes with that is the photo of the wreath. They have a wreath laying ceremony every day for the enslaved people that labored at the Mount Vernon plantation. And so at the conclusion of the ceremony, I took a photo of the wreath. And so those two really pair together. So next up, I'm going to use the other half of that card with just the red portion, the 3x4 portion, on another white card. And what's really nice is that I know that that red matches perfectly with the red and white portion of the card that I've already included. So it's a nice way kind of to disperse a consistent color throughout the entire spread. Reds in particular are like almost impossible. I mean, you guys know if you're trying to match red in a shirt with a skirt or a scarf, and God forbid you're trying to match red shoes with something else, it's near impossible. Okay, I digress. You hear, I have some emotional trauma over trying to match red. All right, so so next up is this purple. So that's a June 2016 Studio Calico card. I never used it, but I thought by adding this little, it's kind of a purpley color to the bottom of the 4x6 card, that would add a little bit of interest. I didn't want to add the 4 mini photographs onto a plain white card. I felt like they needed just a little bit of something. So at this point, I'm just trying to figure out if I like that purple band along the bottom of the 4x6 card, or voila, if I like that purple band at the top. And I'm going to go with the top. I'm not exactly sure why I made that decision. Sometimes it's just a feeling in terms of whether or not a card feels heavy with the color on the bottom versus the top, and how it's juxtaposed with other cards that may have a heavy print. And that's probably why I went with the purple at the top, because at the moment I have that floral 3x4 card. And so the purple band next to the floral card probably seemed like a lot to me at the moment. So next up, it's just adhering down some of these little mini photographs to the cards. And I think I'm almost done, adhering the photos down. So this week, I'm really working with a two-step process. So step one is to kind of get the photos laid out and to select the cards, both white and pattern, that I want to use, and get the photos adhered. So for me, that's really the first part of the process. The second part for me has to do with the embellishment phase. I like both just as much. And I can belabor, the whole process and do really detailed embellishments, or take my time selecting the cards, or I can make it fairly quick if I feel like I don't have a lot of time. But it is about the joy of the journey for me. So at this point, I've got everything adhered, and I'm just pulling out potential embellishments that I think I, might just want to use on this week's spread. So let's see. I'm going to throw out that blue card and check out possible embellishments. So I've already included that red flare, or I don't think I've adhered it down, but I'm thinking about that red flare on the photograph with the clouds. And I also have these old numbers from several months ago, an Allie Edwards kit. And I am going to use the 23. This is week 23 spread for me. And lately I have not been including the WK or week on that weekly card, just the straight number. And then I will put the days of the week actually on the journal card instead. Either works. I can stamp the dates on the week card, or I can put it on the journal card. It's just been a thing with me lately. We'll see. My mood could change like in a snap. Okay, so I've got some old labels from the Read Stories kit from Allie Edwards. I really like the love books phrase. However, the oval is not doing it for me. I do place a puffy sticker on the 1 3x4 card with my son posing. We are at a tea shop, and he loves this tea shop because their pastries are, oh my gosh, they are heavenly, melt in your mouth. So He loves to go out with me because he knows we're probably stopping to get something yummy for a snack or lunch. So anyway, I got a quick photo. And then this other photo is the last day of school photo of my eldest. I almost forgot to get this photograph, but the last day of his sophomore year. Woohoo! And him at his computer, just, I don't know what he was working on. It was the last night before the last day of school. So, and let's see. Initially, I put that one puffy sticker down at the bottom of the photograph with the house right at the edge. And I decided, that's not doing it for me. So I moved it up just a bit. It's lovely that that puffy sticker did not leave too much residue behind and moved pretty easily. And I am pretty close to the end at this point. I do like using these printable embellishments. I'm sorry my video cut out, but I cut out one of those printables and added it to that cloud photograph and then attached the flare right on top. And oddly enough, that's orange. And there really isn't any orange. There's a little bit of that floral pattern. So I'm not sure why I went with orange, but hey, that's just what happened. I used one of the one little bird um, labels that came in Studio Calico's most recent kit. And actually, I have to say, Studio Calico's been doing a nice job lately. Their kits have been nicely stocked. There was a while, I was just a little bit concerned, like, I do not know if I'm going to keep this up. But I've been pleased lately. So the other thing I'm really trying to do this summer is to make sure I stamp. I often fall short on my stamping, but I want to be a little bit better about that. And so this week I am including stamping, and you know I'm in love with vellum lately. I'll have to try to find this vellum brand and make sure I put it down below for you. It's a really, really nice vellum. And I like the way it cuts, tears, and even the ink applies quite nicely to it. So I'm going to cut 3 sides, and then I do a nice little tear across the bottom. And that's the perfect embellishment for the library aisle. And then I'm just going to place 2 little tiny staples on either side. And that card is bam, 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 done. And then I'm going to check reading. I am currently reading. Yes. So at this point, I think almost all of the cards are embellished. You saw I moved the floral card out, brought the blue card back. I literally had a hard time this week making up my mind and not sure which direction I wanted to go. In the end, I think I felt that the floral card was a little bit much and that the blue card just toned things down a tad. So I'm going to go with the blue and trying to see how I'm going to handle a few final cards and embellishing elements. So I have some printables. I've made these 3x4 cards, or I print these cards out on my new white cardstock. That's a real hefty cardstock again, but I'm not sure if I want to use this red and white stripe or whether I want to incorporate this kind of blue watercolor card. So I'm going to go ahead and cut both down, and then I will see how it goes from here. All right, so first up, I'm going to try both and move that black and white card out of the way, see if that works, but that's too much red, so I'm going to put the black and white back. So now I'm playing around with that blue and white card. I decide I like it. I'm going to pull out that one chipboard piece, place that in the center. Voila, that's done. I'm going to add that one white acrylic play element to the blue patterned card. I'm going to place it between the photos of my son with his buddies at the pool. And yes, that's going to work. Kind of have the balance between the blue at the top and the blue at the bottom of the layout. Can you dig it? Okay. I'm trying to keep up with myself as I'm doing this recording. All right. So adhering the play down, you saw me place that one little yellow element on the black and white card. I'm not sure why I went with the yellow element, but it does add an unexpected splash of color. And then the last thing I'm going to do is place down numbers. I realize I only have that 3x4 space for journaling, which is not a lot. And so I'm going to use the numbers so that I can kind of, in a very concise way, hone in on the highlights of the week and attach that to the photographs. So that's it, my friends. This week 23 is done. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be right back with the finished layout. Love ya, hugs, and peace.